So yesterday, we got some really good news on Max Mitchell. Now, as we saw in the game, that was scary, man. I mean, thankfully, they didn't show the injury again. That was rough. I felt like it was a knee injury. I put it out on Twitter at the time. When he went down, he looked like he immediately grabbed his knee, and his leg looked like it bent at like a weird angle. It looked like it kind of maybe went back or to the side. But man, my immediate thought was, you got the MCL, you got the PCL, you got a lot of CLs, right? You got a lot of CLs in that knee, and I'm like, shit, this could be really, really bad. Thankfully, we dodged a bullet. So yesterday, the word came out that his knee injury is not season ending. It was a dislocation of the kneecap, which is not great, but considering it could have been in a CL, it's actually best case scenario. So it's a dislocation of the kneecap. He's going to be out several weeks. Now, several weeks is a bit vague. It could be, if you look at the timetables for knee dislocations, it could be anywhere from a month to maybe a month and a half to potentially maybe 2 months or a little bit more, depending on the swelling and things like that. So again, not season ending, not anything like, God forbid, something that we'd have to worry about in the future. This should be something that once it heals, it's good. Just got to wait for it to heal. So Max is out. So what does that mean for our offensive line? So let's talk about that for a minute. So Duane Brown, I don't want to jinx it. Fingers crossed. We should be finding out tomorrow. But Duane Brown should be coming back. Last week, Robert Saleh announced that Duane Brown was back and working with trainers and basically doing everything except being on the field in practice. And this week, he's eligible to return. So we should find out tomorrow. If Duane Brown can come back, that's huge. That's absolutely huge because as we saw, AVT, man, if you guys missed it, I just put out a video a little earlier. It was an AVT appreciation video. Man, doesn't get enough credit. AVT was on track to have a Pro Bowl year at guard, one of the best guards in the league. Move him to left tackle. He was awesome. He kept Zach safe and his blind side safe, which is super important. So, man, kudos to AVT. If we could, I'd put him at every position. Heck, I didn't think, he could play center. After watching him play left tackle, maybe he can throw the ball. I think our thing from now on is going to be if somebody goes out or if there's a problem, we're going to be, well, can AVT do it? That's going to be our thought, right? We're going to be like, well, the punter's out. Can AVT kick? I mean, so AVT, man, unbelievable. But Duane Brown could be coming back. So that could be really big. And again, don't want to jinx it, but the biggest thing with Duane Brown, again, don't want to jinx it, is durability, right? I pointed out that obviously with the whole Mekhi situation, offensive tackle has been a freaking tragedy for us this season, man. It's been absolutely rough. And so many people faulting Joe Douglas, but look, we went through 3 offensive tackles now. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Not what we expected to happen. Now you add in Max, it's another one. Right now we have 4. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. So George Fant could be returning in potentially a few weeks. That would be great to have him back. But Duane Brown could be returning this week, potentially. We'll find out tomorrow. So if he comes back, that's going to be big because I thought the offensive line was pretty good, except for Connor McDermott, man. Like Connor McDermott, I don't even want to call him a turnstile because, that's even a compliment to him. Even a turnstile has a little bit of resistance. You know what I'm saying? So, at right tackle, he was bad there too. So the weak link by far was Connor McDermott. Nate Herbig was okay. I watched him make a couple of really good blocks. Then I also watched him get put down, and he didn't play as well. Granted, he was going against Hayward, so you got to keep that in mind. He was okay. The way I look at it is McDermott, he's had his shot. He's played a bunch. He is not even close to the answer. Herbig, that was really his first game playing, and he looked okay. So we have a couple of options here, but the most important thing is to make this offensive line work, right? Because we saw this last week. It wasn't that great. Zach Wilson brought his dynamic to the team, so even though the offensive line wasn't looking as good, he was elusive. He held his own in the pocket. I talked about earlier, you guys saw I put a video out on that as well, that I thought he had a better performance and everyone was making it out to be. Everyone else was like, oh, he wasn't that good and had a better fourth quarter performance. I thought he was good through the whole thing, and the better team play allowed him to play better in the fourth quarter. That was put a whole video on that if you guys want to check it out. I had it on my channel. But this offensive line needs to keep Zach Wilson safe, right? Like, that's priority number one. That's what has to happen. So, couple of different options here. If Duane Brown's a go, I mean, he's one of the best left tackles to ever play the game. I've said it to you guys before. The best way to think about Duane Brown, whenever he chooses to retire, there's a gold jacket waiting for him. It's that simple. Whenever he wants to retire, it's there for him. That's the player he is. He's one of the best tackles to really ever play the game, honestly. So putting him back at left tackle works. Do you move AVT to right tackle and leave Herbig at right guard? That's an interesting option. Another one is Mike Reimers should be available. So Mike Reimers is not the player he used to be. We'll make that clear. He's an older dude. I think he's about 33 now. He's not bad, but he used to be a Pro Bowl player. Like, he used to be awesome. I think he can be good, potentially. I mean, best case scenario, maybe we got Duane Brown, Laken Tomlinson, Connor McGovern, then AVT back at right guard where he was having a Pro Bowl year. You put him back, he should go back to his Pro Bowl year. Then maybe Mike Reimers at right tackle. That could be a really good option. The one player I don't want to see, and I think you guys saw I put it out on Twitter, is Cedric Ogbuehi. Cedric Ogbuehi is not the answer. This dude he was a former first-round pick. He's been in the league for 8 years. He's only played over 300 snaps 2 of those years, and in those 2 years, he allowed, no joke, 17 sacks. I'm sorry, if you allow 17 sacks in 2 years, you shouldn't even be in the league anymore. So he's not even an option, in my opinion. So a couple of different options. Again, George Fant should be back within a few weeks. So, man, having him back again, it would be nice from having no offensive tackles to, heck, now we got Duane Brown, Mike Reimers, and George Fant, and then Max should be returning within maybe a couple of weeks after that. That would be best case scenario. But for next week, couple of different options. Again, you can leave AVT at left tackle. He looked really good. He protected Zach's blind side, which is crazy important. Again, AVT can do anything. AVT, heck, if you tell me, like you said, you want to line him up at wide receiver, I'm interested. You know what? The guy can do anything. So AVT could stay at left tackle. Maybe Duane Brown's at right tackle, and you put Nate Herbig at right guard, or you put Duane Brown at his natural position, left tackle. You move AVT can play anything. You put AVT at right tackle maybe, leave Herbig at right guard, or you put AVT back at right guard, and then you put Mike Reimers at right tackle. So a lot of different options. It really comes down to, is Duane Brown ready, right? It comes down to, is Duane Brown ready? Is he healthy? Is he going to be ready to go? If he is, that's a big deal. If he's not, the Mike Reimers situation is interesting. They signed him initially to the practice squad. I don't 100% know, but my take is he's an older guy. I think they want to make sure he can pass physical. I think they want to make sure he's healthy and he's ready to go. If he is, he's, again, not what he used to be, but he's still going to be way better than Connor McDermott will ever be. Like, let's make that clear. Like, Reimers on his oldest, worst day is better than McDermott on his best day. So a lot of different options. It really comes down to who's going to be available. But the big news is we dodged a bullet with Max Mitchell, right? We dodged a bullet. Thank God it's not one of those CLs, right? It's a dislocation of the kneecap. He's going to be good. He should be back in about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. But he's a staple of this offensive line going forward, right? A 4th-round pick that was thrown into the fire because of all these injuries, because of Mekhi going down, because of Duane going down, because of George. Everyone going down. Max is before George went down, Max is thrown into the mix at right tackle. Man, he was killing it. We saw he even had that game-winning block against Myles Garrett to win the game in week 2 to allow Joe to hit Garrett Wilson. See, he's been making exceptionally great blocks against quality edge rushers and defensive linemen as a 4th-round pick being thrown into the fire. Man, Max Mitchell and AVT. Those are 2 future staples of our offensive line. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, appreciate you guys listening. If you could please subscribe to the channel, that'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. I'll catch you guys later.